7th edition of For the Love of Children is proudly brought to you by Kiddies Dom with the support of Y Crypt, Talk to Self, Body Safety Academy, Augustine Odanibo, Building Boys Academy, OnPad, Salma Private Schools The Safe Hands, FIDA Nigeria Enugu Chapter, Amaje Event Center, Nzapi, Agosil, and Afia TV. Thank you for standing with us in creating safer spaces for children.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to FTLOC 7th edition. I'm not going to start without appreciating, first of all, our lovely convener, my friend, my sister, Ifichukwu, for everything. It's taken months to get to this point, and for a program that is mostly self-funded, it's not always easy gathering people like this, all the logistics and everything. And of course, I will not fail to appreciate the entire team, my fellow facilitators, Mr. Kweme and my brother Chimezie. And I'm going to appreciate Mr. Ndidu once again, and Faith, and all the team members, all the volunteers who are doing an amazing job. Let's appreciate them, please. So, I have been asked to talk about this, present this topic, and probably when you read you get to understand why I have the privilege. Because most times when we see things like this, if my name is not there, you will assume a woman should take that topic. Do you agree? Particularly around this part of the world, when you say children, the assumption is that it is a woman that will handle it. But it's not true, because I am of the opinion that a man, a father, is equally as responsible for his children as his wife. And I know a lot of men who work in education, who work in child protection, like my brother Chimezie, who are passionate about children. It does not make them feminine. It doesn't make them weak. It only shows the mind of God concerning the next generation. And anybody who does not take the next generation seriously, I really don't know what you are doing. So you've seen the topic, raising compassionate and confident kids, the keys to a bully-free community. Let's move on, please. Can I use the... Can I have the... Okay, so moving on. I want us to know that we are at war. I believe that anybody who has come here because they either work with children, or they want to gain knowledge on how to work with children, or they want to improve how they work or how they raise their children. And if you don't know that we are at war, then let me say it again. There is a war. There is contention for the minds of our children. From the time a child is born, a lot of things come up to wage a war to ensure that the parent fails at their responsibility, the educator, the counselor, whoever that works with children, they fail. The economy is at war with us. Sometimes even government policies are at war with us. Sometimes even the school is at war with us, the educational system. Because these days we try to be woke, we want to be trendy, and we forget that we have values that make us at the core of who we are. So you can see this in this image. This young man is supposed to be studying, but he's not studying. There are a lot of things battling for his attention, and that is not what it was several years ago. Am I using it well? I hope I'm using it well. Okay. So we are looking at. Okay, so we want to have a bully-free community, right? Do you all want to have a bully-free community? I'm sure that even if you are not directly impacted or influenced or whatever, you must have had one person in your life who is a victim of bullying. You must have experienced bullying either as a bystander. Thank God for social media or the news. It's all over the air. You see every day. One of the most prevalent was the case at a particular school in Enugu,
where a boy was laid down and they were flogging him. It was more like a secret court initiation. You couldn't tell me otherwise. In fact, when we met the commissioner, to invite him for this meeting, it was one of the things that was brought up. So, but we want to have confident and compassionate children. How do we make a confident child? A confident child is a child who is certain of himself or herself. A confident child is a child who is self-aware. A confident child is a child who sometimes you see them to be arrogant, but it's not true. They are just bold. But the problem is that sometimes we don't have the capacity to contain their boldness or to guide them in the right direction. And sometimes some children just come like that. Some children become bold through learning and a lot of things. Some, just from the time they pop out, they are bold. I have a son like that. And I thank God that I'm alive to see him express himself the way he does. And that he's in a school where they encourage him to do what? Express himself. Compassionate children are not children who are soft. Because sometimes we have this notion that, oh, he's a compassionate person. That means he's too soft. That means he's a weak person. No. A compassionate child is one that has empathy, that feels for others, and that is moved to help another child or another person. Before I left my house this morning, I received nothing less than 5 hugs from my children. 5 hugs. And that's the one I could count, because I was trying to come out and not all of that. And I was just reflecting on it and reflecting on this topic. I have a lot of other kids who are like that. I have boys who are 19, 20. When they see me, they want to hug me and hold me tight. Now, that could be seen as a feminine quality, but that is not what it is. It only shows that they have compassion. And it also means that they were raised to have compassion, to have empathy. And that is the kind of world we need today. We need leaders who are compassionate. I was just talking to a woman. I went to the market 2 weeks ago, and a woman came with her child, and she was begging. Oga, upgrading 1,000 km, Kamali Fengego. The economy is crazy right now. And that is because we don't have leaders who are compassionate. We don't have leaders who are compassionate. It's as simple as that. We cannot negotiate it. How do we raise such children? We have seen a picture of who a compassionate or confident child should be. How do we raise them? There are many ways. It's not exhaustive, please. But I have used my personal experience and the experience of a lot of boys I work with to share what I'm sharing today. Now, I was on TV last week and I was telling the young ladies who are our hosts that, look, don't become a parent if you're not ready for parenting. I don't believe in marrying for social media and then you have children for social media. Because at the end of the day, you will give account of how you raise. If you don't even give account, those children, you will be accountable to them. And the kind of kids we are raising now, I don't know. If you are not ready for them, please don't go and have children. If you want to do career, face your career. If you want to live your life alone, it's not a sin. You can live your life alone. But you see children, parenting, it is a personal responsibility. And you don't parent by someone else's standard. You don't parent by someone else's way of living. You parent because it is the right thing to do. You parent because they are God's creation handed over to us to prepare so that they can become successful at whatever it is that they find themselves doing. So we must be intentional and proactive about raising our children. There is a way to raise them. What do I mean? There are standards for raising children. Thank God there's knowledge available. You don't even need to pay money. If you go online, you see materials, free material resources on how to raise children. Of course, there are materials that are diluted. So if you have a strong value system, you'll be able to decipher which is which. You must be able to observe your children. Discover your child, their gifts, their talents, their abilities, their temperaments. I was telling a father about temperament. He was like, I thought it's when I'm older. I said, excuse me. From the time they start talking, you can tell the kind of person they are. You can tell the one that is everywhere. You can tell the one that is an introvert. You can tell the one that is what they call, the outside has called bakomi, he's just there. You can tell the one that is choleric, he wants to, as he's thinking, he's doing. You can tell the one that is a leader, and it's not even about position. One can be number 3 in the house, but the leader of the home. I was shocked the other day. My 5-year-old came to me and said, Dad, I think we are seeing, this season now, cockroaches just around an area in my house. And early in the morning, the boy walks past me. He said, Dad, we have to find a lasting solution to this cockroach problem. A 5-year-old boy. At 10 years, I wouldn't think like that. But the boy is a leader. And you have to work with him, You have to work with him at that point in time. So being a parent, you must be proactive. You must seek knowledge. You must be dynamic enough to wait for them. I work with teenage boys a lot. I also teach in a boys' school. And one of the things that I have learned is that because I work with boys, I don't have a teenage boy yet from my own loins. But I am prepared. I'm waiting for them. Because the generation of teenage boys that we have today, I don't know. We must be prepared for them. Okay. Now, we must help them boost their confidence, build their self-esteem and As parents, we have a responsibility, as teachers too, as caregivers, we have a responsibility to ensure that they boost their confidence. There's this habit we have when a boy or a girl talks a lot, seems to be a talkative, like we say. Next thing we say, and guess what? He goes to school, wants to answer a question. You talk too much. He's not hearing Inekuka. He's hearing your gift is not important. He's hearing your presence is not important. He's hearing your opinion is not necessary. And that's how you stifle the guy's spirit. That's how you subdue whatever it is that wants to come out of him. That's how you subdue his expression and manifestation. So we must be careful enough to help them boost their confidence and build their self-esteem. Empathy development in children. I've seen boys who, when I see men that treat their wives anyhow, it didn't start from the marriage. It started when they were boys. When my wife gave birth, my first child, she did natural delivery. There was another lady in her ward who was kept for a longer time because, she had complications. So when she finally delivered, it was 2 CS. The husband just walks in on the second day. Imugo, Kedefimolo. Okay, MSN, I will come back. And he left. I felt like punching him in the face. But it did not start from there. It started from somewhere along the line. Either he saw his father or he saw males around him not show compassion for others. So we must cultivate empathy. And we must model it. We must model compassionate behavior and kindness. I had to reprimand a boy the other day for talking to a young man who is trying to pay his way through school by being a gardener. He's a gardener. And he spoke condescendingly on this young man. I had to say, no, why you talk? Is it because you are privileged? Your parents are able to take care of you, give you shelter, everything? You have to apologize to him. When I finished talking to that boy, he started crying. And he apologized. That's how you raise them, to show compassion. You must model it. Please, can you go back? You must model it. And you must engage in community service and genuine. Because these days, most of the time, the charity we do is just for optics. It's not because we really want to help people. Children learn a lot when they see us showing genuine philanthropy or charity or altruism. Promote perspective taking. When you engage children, allow them to express themselves. And never allow another person to hush them. As a teacher, even if the boy is saying something that sounds stupid, let him express himself. The last NGO I worked in, I remember my boss had a rule. All ideas are valid. It was pasted on the, in the meeting hall. All ideas are valid. And that way, everybody had a reason to make contributions. Okay. Conflict resolution skills. Please, I'm laying a foundation for bullying. Because we are here to talk about putting an end to bullying. So if we're going to raise children who will be self-confident, who will resist bullying, then we need to infuse this in them. Let us discourage sibling rivalry. I know sometimes as parents, there is this particular child that we just have this fondness for. Maybe because that child is pastor, That one obeys instructions. That one can read your mind and do things well. But as much as possible, please love your children equally. Many young men and women are not in good terms with their siblings today because of how daddy and mommy treated them unfairly. And it extends to bullying as well. You see a child trying to fix himself into a particular clique, and they're saying, you cannot join us. And the child's spirit is dampened. Why? Because from the foundation, they don't allow that child to express their uniqueness. So we must avoid comparison and celebrate. No matter how little they do something nice, celebrate it. Okay, I've spoken on promoting empathy, fostering communication, emphasizing problem solving. Don't always solve their problems for them. Let them make effort to solve their problem. Don't be in a hurry. Oh, mommy is here, daddy is here. Don't worry. No, let the child try to navigate their way and guide them accordingly. Apologize when you are wrong. You are not superhuman. Apologize. We like to have this and apology. A child is asking you questions. Daddy, why is it like this? Instead of saying, I'm tired, can we discuss later? And then you talk fully to that child. And then you don't want to apologize to the child. Why? Because you are a man. Or you are a woman. Because you gave birth to them. Doesn't make any sense. Let them also know that daddy and mommy have their own weaknesses. So you apologize and be courteous and polite. Decision making and ownership. One of the things we must teach our children, because sometimes in schools you see children who find it difficult to take a step, make a decision. They are neither here nor there. Over the past 3 weeks, I've been providing career counseling for boys between ages 16 and 17. And what I've noticed for a lot of them is that they know what they like. They are good at something, but because of what their friends are doing, they want to join them. I've been doing counseling for trying to solve the problem, trying to find, the right, for those who want to go to the university, the right course to fill in their JAM form and all of that, the right subject combination. So we must encourage them to make choices and stand up for themselves. Mr. Chimeze shared our story in a suit. Up until 3rd year, court boys were always on my neck. They even sent boys to my church to find out whether this guy is really, because they will come for you. They felt I was court material. But thank God that we survived it. But if not for the resilience I built at home and in church, because my father died when I was quite young, but I had parents, male figures who would encourage me, would mentor me. I wouldn't build that resilience enough to have a strong conviction and stand for myself. We had friends who joined cults. Sometimes we yearned for power, whatever that meant. Sometimes we wanted to be recognized. But to always remember that you are coming from somewhere, and you cannot afford to fail your parents and those who believe in you. So we must teach our children to develop a strong sense of conviction. Okay. Promote risk-taking. That's connected to making strong decisions. Okay. Boundaries. Children need boundaries. I was shocked the other day my 7-year-old called. I think it was time to have his bath. I can't remember what it was. Daddy, nobody should follow me to my room. I want to just... I say, 7. 7 years. 7 years old. And it amazed me how a boy is so self-aware. The other day he did something wrong. He spoiled something in the house. And I said, you know what? I'm going to go to your class and call. I didn't mention all his classmates, particularly the girls. Hey, Daddy, please, don't mention. Don't call such a man. Don't call this. I said, why now? He said, I don't want them to. I said, okay, so you have steeze and composure. Okay, I see. So children become self-aware. As they become self-aware, they need to have boundaries. Now, I'm not saying that you should just give them boundaries. No, it's with wisdom. Sometimes give them space. Allow them to do what they want to do, but within the confines of the values you have built at home. That's why, as a young lady listening to me, before you get married, marry a man who has what it takes to be a father. Don't just marry any man. Marry a man who will show you that he's a father figure. Because the time will come in the family where, at the end of the day, what you fall back on is your value system. It's the man that will tell you, this is where we are. We're not going to do this. Because you must have a clear set of values that your family is known for. So you must create boundaries. Rules and expectations. In my house, we have a rule. School, Monday to Friday, they go to bed by 8. You come back, do your homework, we have some play, have some discussions, say our prayers. Of course, they have their dinner, freshen up, and they go to bed. You don't tell me by 8:01, Daddy, you cannot negotiate it because we have already set the rules and we agreed that these are the rules we are going to live by. So when I see parents telling me, how could that boy, and 11 o'clock, 11 o'clock, he comes to class, he's sleeping. School bus comes in the morning, he cannot pick him up. Why? The boy did not sleep early. It doesn't help. Boundaries help kids feel safe, loved, and know how to behave. When you take your children out, how do they behave? Have you prepared them for that? When you take them out, or are you so busy chatting with your friend that you forget what the children are doing? So you must prepare them from when they are very little. We are going out here. Everybody should behave themselves. We don't do this. We don't pick somebody's things. We don't pick somebody's toys. We don't do like this. We respect their parents. If they give you food, that's how I was raised too. If you are done, offer to take the plate to the kitchen. Don't wait for them to carry the plate for you. We are Africans and we must stand by our values, whether anybody likes it or not. Develop self-regulation. When we set limits, by default, the kids start learning how to regulate themselves on their own. I was shocked. A friend of mine I visited the other day, I shared some things with him about my own family. And he told me how the boy will come up from school and insist that he will not eat until he does his homework. Now, that is discipline. You may think it's insignificant, but you are training that boy on how to develop discipline. Now, if you're a teacher, I want to encourage you to do something. When you go back to school and you're giving homework or project or whatever they will take home, please don't make it look like I'm giving you so I can finish my curriculum. No. The idea behind the assignment or project is to imbibe in them a spirit of responsibility. When you give them team quiz or team project, it's for everybody to develop a team spirit. Because you have kids who, they like to go behind. They don't want to say, let me just stay on my own. No, everybody, all hands must be on deck. And that's how you make things work. Encourages respect. Bullies, when they see kids who yield to them anyhow, they start trampling on them. Even if a bully comes into an environment now, no matter how young or old he is, and he sees that this child has a sense of self-worth, it will be difficult for that bully to penetrate that child. But it starts from the home. It starts in the classroom. Do you affirm that child? Do you affirm that child? Do you share things that will uplift the spirit of that child? Do you try to improve his self-worth? Or do you laugh when they are body shaming the child? Okay, please, let's move on. Defining a bully-free community, why it matters. So, there are two ways to look at it. One, safe spaces. A bully-free community provides a safe and supportive environment for all children, all, where they feel accepted, respected, and valued. I've taught boys who have Down syndrome. I've taught boys who have some, I don't know how to explain. I've taught boys who have physical or biological ailments that make them offensive. They have body odor. They pass off body odor. Not of their own fault. And initially it can be difficult. But when you learn how to make them feel loved, oh my God, they make classrooms so beautiful. They make counseling so wonderful. They come close to you. Why? Because this man or woman has given me a level playing ground. So in the class, we don't see Adobe, Emeka, and Chidiogo as different. No matter how they are all children. They are all the same. If I give a sweet to Chidiogo, it must go to Emeka, it must go to Adobe. Level playing ground. Healthy developments. Bullying can have a negative impact on their, I'm sure Chimeze has touched on that, so I'm moving on. Okay, so I know that Ms. Ekweme will touch on this, but I just wanted to share this. How do we help children who bully? Because sometimes we are focused on Piaife, Tibuoya, he's still a child. And that bullying the child is exhibiting came from somewhere. We forget that. we scandalize the child, we make mockery of the child, instead of finding ways to solve the problem. Yes, I'm done. I just have 2 or 3 slides. So we change the way they use their power by encouraging them to develop skills that won't involve aggression. Identify, like I said, their natural abilities and ensure that they, for example, you can make a boy there are bullies who have strong leadership skills. You can make him a school prefect, like refectory prefects or water prefects. Roles that require a lot of physical work. By the time they do that thing once or twice, they will not find chance to bully another person. Consequences that teach, not punish. Let's not forget, our job is to teach, model, guide, mentor, and coach. Children who bully need help in understanding the impact of their actions. Formative consequences are designed to send the message that bullying is unacceptable, while also providing support for children who bully, to learn the social skills and empathy they may lack. So these are the formative consequences. Assigning students a research project, I've mentioned that. Children, they are so innocent too, even when they do something wrong. When you get a movie or something that they can watch, a documentary on bullying. I remember the first time I shared a documentary on cultism. Chimeze gave me that documentary. Boys were crying, 17-year-old boys. Boys taller than me, with deep voice. They were telling me I'm going to be a cultist in year 1. They were crying, they were broken. And they said, sir, thank you for sending this thing to me. I shared a video on HIV with some boys. And they said, sir, I'm going to keep myself pure until I get married. Things like that you don't need to talk too much. Just share such resources with them and they can speak louder than yourself. Have kids who bully, interview an adult on older students about their bullying experiences. And it will amaze you what they will learn from that experience. You can allow them to go online, go on newspapers and the rest of them. Talk with them about their own strengths and weaknesses and how they can use their power to help and not hurt others. You are not like this because it's for beating people. Like a boy told me that my father is a muscular man and that's how he beats my mother. And so I'm going to be beating others. I said, nah, that muscular nature God gave your dad is to protect your mother and your sisters. It's not to beat your mother. And it's wrong to beat a woman, by the way. Helping students who are bullied. Teach social skills. You can look at that. Build self-esteem. I worked in a community in Osoka. Sorry, I'm mentioning Osoka again. But I'm from Osoka, a proud son of Osoka. So we had a project we were doing there. And 2 of the boys, they were always looking down. I had to start canceling them because I was worried. A man should learn to look in the eyes and shake your, good morning, sir. How are you doing? How do you do? It doesn't show arrogance. It shows that he's confident. Encourage children to report. I'm sure Engineer Fair will be talking about systems. Encourage children to report. As a teacher, ensure that there's 0 tolerance for bullying in your class or in your school, as the case may be. Let there be a policy on bullying, against bullying. In fact, when you're hiring a teacher, find out whether the teacher it takes courage for children to report bullying. Be ready to listen to them. It takes courage for a child. So you must encourage them to speak for themselves. When I go pick my sons up, I do school run a lot. When I pick my children up from school, as you are picking them, even when the child is there, they're telling you, Daddy, see what my child did to me. You know why? Because I taught them how to do that. So we discuss everything. There's this girl I like you. She's in my class. Okay. There's a time for everything. For now, she can be your friend. But there's a time for everything. Because what we know at 15, what we know at 15 years, they know it at 5. I have a boy, 8 years, I'm dealing with the case now. He has a girlfriend, not crush. Girlfriend, he asked her to be his girlfriend. She agreed. Give me 8 years now as a girlfriend. So we have a lot of work to do. In conclusion, bullying can be tackled and eliminated when we work collectively. Chimezi has also addressed that. We cannot solve the problem of bullying one-sided. If you train your own children, I train my own, she trains her own, and the teachers do their own, and the school leaders, irrespective of who is in charge or not, they do their work, and the government does their own, ensuring that we have anti-bullying policies that are working. Chimezi has suffered in government people's hand, though. In terms of reporting, he has suffered. But God will keep helping my brother. He will keep helping you. So, we provide an opportunity for them to thrive. And that is why these American columnists and landers gave a quote that I love so much. That is not what we teach our children, what we do for our children, but what we teach them to do for themselves that will make them successful. Thank you so much. And may God help us to have a beautiful society.